roaming in an empty world, switching between times.
I'm in 2001. As you can tell behind me, I'm at Radio Shack, guys.
Or tracking on cursed trails. It seems we live in a simulation, and what you see daily might not be the truth. So hang on for today's video, because what these people have shared will blow your mind.
And I turned my head around, and standing right behind me, right here, just inches from me, was a gray.
Back in 2018, this guy named Alexander Smith had stirred up the internet by saying he was a time traveler. According to him, the CIA supposedly sent him in 1981 on a mission all the way to the year 2118. He never really explained what the mission was supposed to be, but he said the agency wasn't exactly thrilled when he came back. That's why he claimed he'd been hiding ever since. His evidence was this one blurry photo of a futuristic city that he swore he took in 2118.
This picture was taken in the year 2118.
Blaming the blur on time travel effects, and he had a strange, shaky, Americanish mix accent that sounded like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be.
That was a picture from the future, which I was able to take back.
Some thought maybe it was a hoax, while others believed he was telling the truth. Highway encounter. This one came from a North Carolina 911 call that had gone viral for all the wrong reasons. A driver had phoned in saying he'd spotted something strange on the road while heading home.
Henry County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm driving on 210. I just crossed the Black River and I thought I saw a guy standing on the side of the road bleeding.
But mid-call, there was this loud thud and his voice just broke.
What the?
What was that, sir?
That's not human! That's not human!
He said something had jumped into the bed of his truck, and whatever it was, it wasn't human. He claimed it scratched and slammed the metal as it climbed onto the cab, and when he hit the brakes, the thing flew off and scrambled into the woods. Once the call leaked, people really went wild. Some said it was an alien gray. Others suggested it might be a rake. And honestly, the way his voice shook, I'm not ruling anything out. New footage out of the state had people wondering if the two incidents were connected, and honestly, this one felt even colder. A woman came home one night, turned into her driveway, and spotted movement in the tree line. When she checked her security cameras, this pale, stretched-out creature appeared to be creeping through her backyard. It ran, jumped onto a small wall, then bolted into the woods. And it didn't just show up on one camera. It appeared on the side yard angle too, ruling out any glitch. So, what were we looking at here? A distorted human? A skinwalker? Or the same thing from that 911 call? Because judging from how it looked, that wasn't human. Time traveler. A guy named Jim had been stirring up the internet by insisting he was a real time traveler.
I'm in 2001. As you can tell behind me, I'm at Radio Shack, guys.
While plenty of people joked about it, he tried proving it by filming himself visiting places that didn't exist anymore. One clip in particular sent viewers into a frenzy. He walked through a Radio Shack in 2001, showing aisles and products long gone today. Some people believed he genuinely figured out time travel. Others weren't convinced at all, calling it an elaborate setup. Meanwhile, viewers kept challenging him to visit specific years, old landmarks, or forgotten stores, hoping he'd reveal something impossible to hoax.
Really? I mean, I just showed you Kobe Bryant and Toys R Us. All right.
Guys, I'm in 2001. As you can tell behind me, I'm at Radio Shack, guys. Here I am outside, guys. Radio Shack. How do you deny this? Right next to Walmart? 2001.
Alien evidence. Alien encounters are creepy enough, but when they leave physical proof behind, that's when things get really unsettling. Back in 2017, a woman named Sev Talk had just moved to Arapahoe, North Carolina. She was unpacking with her boyfriend when she suddenly felt what she thought was a bug bite. But this was no ordinary bite. Take a look at this. 9 dots, arranged in a perfect X, and strangely, it didn't itch. Not like a normal bite at all. Then things got even weirder. A few days later, Sev had a flashback, lying face down on a stretcher with a gray figure standing over her.
And I turned my head around, and standing right behind me, right here, just inches from me, was a gray.
And another mark appeared, perfectly mirroring the first one. So what was going on here? Was she being targeted, or is there a more rational explanation? Let me know your take on this.
We locked eyes, and ding, I'm back in my bedroom.
Room visitor. A woman had been recording a casual video message for her friend when something unexpected appeared behind her. Viewers noticed it first, a figure standing still with a large round head and a thin, lean body.
Anything expensive, I'll try like Salvation Army first. I went and bought decaf coffee.
Many who watched the clip agreed it didn't resemble anything human. The woman later said she had no idea anything was in the room with her until people pointed it out, leaving her terrified. Online, the theories spread quickly. Some believed it was an alien gray that managed to slip inside the house without her noticing, while others thought the figure was something even stranger.
You know? But...
Time operative. Al Bielek hadn't been someone most people knew until he started sharing stories about time travel and secret government projects.
I have been involved in the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project, time travel, alien connections at the Montauk Project.
He eventually got pulled into military electronics work. That's where he said colleagues exposed him to classified operations involving aliens, psychic research, and time manipulation. By the late 50s, he claimed he'd been recruited into the Montauk Project.
The subjects covered have been from the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project,
commuting through hidden tunnels and later being teleported directly inside the base. In the 70s, he said he ran psychic operations using the Montauk chair, and by the 80s, he believed he was traveling to Mars, ancient eras like 100,000 BCE, and even the year 6037. Staircase figure. This story came from Belfast, where a social media user named Farzana went viral after sharing what many believed was a ghostly figure lurking on her staircase.
There's definitely there's no way there could be someone standing there.
The clip showed her filming herself through the reflection of a large window. At first, viewers assumed it was just her reflection, until she raised her arm and the figure didn't move at all. Commenters flooded her page, urging her to run, move houses immediately, or call a priest. In a follow-up post, she admitted the incident left her shaken.
There is up to 50% risk of transfer if I use a medium or paranormal investigator.
But this wasn't her first time. Earlier, she claimed the presence was her mimic, a folklore entity said to imitate the living. Skeptics blamed a light glitch or double reflection, but she insisted nothing was behind her.
But I'm just gonna put up my hand here.
Red dress. The eerie legend of the little girl in red had remained one of Taiwan's most unsettling mysteries, a story that shaped horror media for years. It began in 1998, when a Taiwanese family filmed their hike in the Dakeng Mountains near Taichung. Everything seemed normal, but soon after the trip, misfortune struck the group. When relatives later reviewed the footage, they noticed something chilling. A small girl in a red dress silently walking behind them, her face darkened as if hidden in shadow. None of them recalled seeing her. Even stranger, one family member in the clip appeared to have sharp fang-like teeth, despite having a completely normal smile in real life. Locals claimed they'd seen the same girl on the trails, often followed by streaks of bad luck. Investigators interviewed residents and monks, but no one recognized her. Over time, the little girl in red became a symbol of the mountains, a quiet reminder to enter with respect. Boy from Mars. Now this is the kind of story that keeps you up at night. Boris Kiprianovich. Just a regular kid, except for the whole "I used to live on Mars" thing. Yeah, by 4 months he was talking. By 2, he was sketching cosmic landscapes. Meanwhile, most of us were still figuring out crayons. But the real mystery was he swore up and down that Mars was once home to an advanced civilization.
How did you come to be here in this different city?
Which one? The where? Achilles? No.
Yes. А где ты сейчас живешь? В каком городе? Город Жирновск.
Until a war wiped it out. He even claimed there's a secret mechanism behind the Sphinx's ear that could change human history. Casual. Now, at 28, Boris has stepped out of the spotlight. Maybe he's just living a normal life. Or maybe he knows something we don't. Either way, his story still gives people chills. Not alone.
I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. And this ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere.
A man named Steven said he was used to strange things happening around his home, but this time, something truly unnerved him. While washing dishes late at night, he suddenly felt something hit him in the back, followed by the sound of it bouncing across the floor. When he looked down, he found a small rubber ball that seemed to appear out of nowhere. His wife had been bedridden for 2 days, and his son was in his room playing, so neither could have thrown it. Steven said he'd experienced paranormal activity before, but nothing this odd, leading followers to suggest he'd captured a real-time poltergeist moment. Ladder experiment. Back in 1995, Mike Markham had called into a radio show saying he'd figured out how to travel through time using a device inspired by a Jacob's ladder. When he tried scaling it up, he said he needed more power than he had, so he stole several transformers from the local utility in King City, Missouri. That theft caused a blackout and got him arrested. The next year, he called back, saying he was building a second machine using legal parts. He claimed he'd already sent around 200 small objects, even animals, through it, and planned to go next. Then, in 1997, Markham vanished, leaving people wondering whether he'd been staging everything, or if the machine worked. Empty world. A TikToker had started uploading videos back in 2023, with his first clip saying he was very scared. He filmed from his hotel window, showing a bright, normal-looking street with not a single person around. When he walked outside, restaurants, supermarkets, even McDonald's, all stocked, but silent. Since then, he'd posted hundreds of videos from places that were usually packed. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, London streets, amusement parks, the New York subway, all empty. He claimed he'd slipped into an alternate version of Earth where he was completely alone. Followers challenged him to visit certain landmarks, and every time, he was the only one there. Ancient Walker. A family had been relaxing on their porch one evening when a strange moment unfolded right in front of them. A young man walked past on the sidewalk, but something about him felt off enough that they checked their security footage. That's when things got weird. The man looked like he'd stepped straight out of the 1920s. Old-fashioned suit, fedora, stiff posture, and his body almost appeared see-through. The family said they never saw him again, but online theories took off. Some believed they'd captured a time traveler, while others thought it was a rare overlap between the past and the present. Honestly, both explanations were equally eerie. David Huggins. David Huggins didn't just claim that aliens existed or that he'd seen one once. He said he'd had an ongoing relationship with one for most of his life.
And she says, David, the baby's... What baby? Your baby, but it's done. And I says, show me my baby. She picks the baby up out of some container and holds it out in front of her. Don't hold the baby like that. Cradle the baby in your arms. And just as I touch it, like static electricity jumped from my hand to the baby.
According to him, his first encounter happened when he was a young boy. Over the decades that followed, he believed he fathered dozens of hybrid children with a female extraterrestrial named Crescent. Huggins documented everything through paintings. His home was filled with hundreds of pieces depicting his experiences, Crescent visiting him, his strange hybrid children, and encounters with small gray beings. His artwork attracted enough attention that a documentary, Love and Saucers, was made about his life. What stood out was how matter-of-fact he was. He described these events the way others described past relationships. Road abduction. A man claimed he'd been taken by an alien craft while driving on a deserted road, and he backed it up with footage many called some of the best UFO evidence ever recorded.
This thing is in the road, in the sky right there. In front of me.
His video showed 3 glowing orbs suspended in the night sky, arranged in a perfect triangle. He stopped the car and began filming as the formation slowly rotated. Near the end of the clip, he panicked, dropping the camera, and only his frantic voice was heard before everything cut out.
Oh,
No one knew what happened next. He later said he was all right and insisted he'd been abducted, though he never shared the full story. Venusian woman. Omnek claimed she was from Venus, literally. She said she was born there and lived on the planet for hundreds of years before arriving on Earth in 1955 as a 7-year-old girl.
Experience of living on your planet since 1955. I was brought here in a spaceship, a physical spaceship that is.
According to her, she came on a spiritual mission to help humanity evolve. In her book From Venus I Came, she described Venusian civilization in detail, from their cities to how their society functioned.
I would like for you to realize that we are indeed your forefathers.
For decades, she gave lectures and interviews, presenting herself as an ambassador from Venus. The obvious problem, of course, was that by the 1950s, scientists already knew Venus was hot enough to melt lead. But her explanation was that her people existed on a higher vibrational plane, one our physical instruments couldn't detect. Andrew Carlson mystery. In 2003, the FBI arrested a 44-year-old man named Andrew Carlson after the SEC flagged him for insider trading. Somehow, he had turned $800 into $350 million in just 2 weeks. Every single trade was flawless. Investigators said there was no way it was luck. During interrogation, Carlson claimed he was a time traveler from 200 years in the future, and that his advantage came from knowing exactly how events would unfold. Carlson was supposed to sit on Rikers Island until he revealed his sources. But that never happened. A mysterious man posted his bail, and before his court hearing, he disappeared. Later, records showed Andrew Carlson had never officially existed. School incident. In 1994, at Ariel School in Zimbabwe, 62 schoolchildren aged 6 to 12 claimed to have seen a silver, disc-shaped craft land in a field just outside their school during recess.
Some of the kids describe having seen 2 lights in the sky that are orange. And these lights appear to be getting closer, and then they're revealed as having this disc-like shape.
Despite being separated and interviewed individually, many children gave eerily similar accounts: a saucer-shaped craft and beings with large heads, black eyes, and thin bodies. Several children reported that the beings sent them mental images, warning of environmental destruction, and messages far too complex for their age. The incident occurred while teachers were in a staff meeting, yet none of the children were found to be lying or contradicting each other.
And then we saw something shiny, so we all ran down over there.
And it was in the early morning?
It was at break time.
Yeah?
Travis Walton.
What do you remember from that moment on?
I regained consciousness. It wasn't real quick. It wasn't real.
Travis Walton didn't expect his shift to end with a one-way ticket to the unknown. It was just another night in 1975, driving home with his lumberjack crew through the Arizona woods, when they saw a blinding light. Walton, curious, or maybe reckless, jumped out to investigate, and there it was. A UFO, hovering. Then, boom, a blast of energy knocked him off his feet. Before his crew could react, he was gone, vanished.
This beam of energy hit me. I felt like I'd been hit real suddenly, like a physical blow.
The police combed the area. Nothing. 5 days later, Walton stumbled back into town. He was dazed, shaken, talking about huge-eyed beings staring at him. They didn't speak, just looked through him somehow. When he came to, the ship was already disappearing into the sky. Some believe him. Others call it a hoax, a hallucination. But one thing's for sure, it's one of the strangest stories in UFO history. Time slip? Kara's story had resurfaced one of those oddly familiar glitch moments, and honestly, this one had everyone scratching their heads. After her son's football game, she and her husband headed back to their truck to pack up. That's when they spotted a pair of cleats sitting inside. Same color, same brand, same design, even the same size. But the weird part, her son was already wearing his cleats.
We see these cleats, which are his cleats. We look down, and he's wearing these cleats. We look, they're exactly the same. They're exactly a men's 10. Where did the second pair of cleats come from?
And he was the only kid on the entire team with that exact style, which is how she usually recognized him on the field. So where did this second pair come from? The family swore they only bought one. People online called it a parallel reality overlap, a tiny slip between timelines. Honestly, I'm still wondering which version makes sense. Mandela effect. By now, most people knew what the Mandela effect was, when large groups remembered an event differently from recorded reality. A man online claimed he had physical proof that some alternate memories were real. In a viral video, he opened a large safe and pulled out 3 supposedly original items.
Bernstein. It's an actual book.
Including a Berenstein Bears book spelled with an E instead of an A. He insisted these were genuine artifacts, objects that somehow crossed from another timeline.
I also have the Shazam VHS.
Skeptics quickly accused him of hoaxing everything, saying the book was recently printed with altered lettering, or that the sweatpants tag had been sewn on. Hoax or not, the clip reignited debate over one of the internet's most unsettling mysteries. Metal visitor. The case of Ronnie Hill had remained one of the most debated UFO encounters from the 1967 wave. On July 21st of that year, in Oriental, North Carolina, 14-year-old Ronnie claimed he'd seen a bright white object descend near his home. He described it as the size of a full moon, buzzing faintly, smelling like burning metal. He rushed inside, grabbed his camera, and managed to snap one photo before the craft disappeared. When he developed the film, he said he found a small metallic figure standing beside a circular object. Ronnie described it as 3.5 to 4 feet tall, with a shiny suit and a dark, reflective face. Many still believe this to be one of the most genuine alien encounters. Hidden watcher. A creator had sent the internet into a frenzy after sharing a series of extremely unsettling photos from inside her home, a home she claimed she'd been living in completely alone. Her first post showed an empty kitchen, but when viewers zoomed in, they spotted what looked like a human face peeking around the corner at a twisted angle. She went silent for a few days before updating everyone, but that update brought even more panic. In the new photo, people noticed a pair of eyes staring through her window blinds. Then came a walkthrough video, where viewers caught what looked like a hand slipping out from beneath a closed door. Some insisted she had a hidden Frogger in her house, while others argued the thing stalking her wasn't human at all. Mantis encounter. Paul Froggett, a dog food factory worker, had been cycling home when he claimed he ran into a 7-foot-tall telepathic mantis. The encounter happened on July 16th, 2020. He said he'd noticed a glowing orange sphere hovering on the horizon, so he stopped to take photos. The object rotated, revealing a circular shape with something jutting from its side. When he entered a wooded path, the morning chorus vanished, leaving everything unnervingly silent. As he came around a bend, he said he saw it. Light green, triangular head, huge black oval eyes, completely mantis-like, but standing upright. He insisted he felt its thoughts, waves of hatred hitting him so strongly that his own fear briefly vanished under something utterly alien. Alien race. On August 13th, 2025, a strange figure was caught strolling through a Brazilian neighborhood. Street surveillance showed a short, thick-bodied humanoid with a large, bulbous head walking calmly along the pavement. Locals said they'd seen similar beings near nearby caves and wooded areas, often describing odd clicking sounds, and in some cases, moments that felt like telepathic communication. Some people believe the footage was the strongest evidence yet of non-human beings living in remote parts of Brazil. Others suggested it might have been some kind of experimental subject that managed to escape. Either way, the creature's appearance left the whole neighborhood unsettled. Forest giant. A haunting piece of footage from Brazil has left viewers stunned. The image, captured by a local couple, allegedly shows a towering 3-meter-tall being appearing deep within the forest near a site known as the House of Stones.
Isso aqui é uma foto mesmo tirada, não é?
Isso é real.
Witnesses claim the figure radiated an overwhelming energy, so strong that one woman said she felt herself lift off the ground. Locals described it as a guardian spirit protecting the wilderness, while others suggested something extraterrestrial. The couple insisted the photo was genuine, but what really visited them? An alien or a creature of Brazilian legend? Voronezh incident. In a public park, a group of children and bystanders witnessed something they would never forget. A spacecraft reportedly landed, and 3 giant humanoid figures emerged. The strange beings were described as much taller than humans, with large heads, no ears or hair, and glowing, reflective bodies. Makarov, one of the schoolboys present, recalled the fear among the crowd. Another witness, Denis Marenko, said he saw unusual traces left behind and a strange man who suddenly disappeared. The craft reportedly hovered for several minutes before rising and vanishing from sight. While skeptics dismissed the event as mass hysteria, the consistency of the children's accounts made it one of Russia's most well-documented UFO encounters. Toenza alien. Something straight out of a sci-fi movie happened. A woman landed at JFK Airport carrying a passport from a country called Toenza, a place that doesn't exist, at least not in our timeline. The document was flawless, complete with biometric chip and stamps from other non-existent nations. Witnesses said she looked perfectly normal, but when told Toenza wasn't real, she insisted this wasn't her world. Then, she vanished without a trace. Authorities were baffled, and the internet went wild. Many believe she was an interdimensional traveler who boarded the wrong plane into the wrong reality. And if that's not true, then what was she? Parker and Hickson.
He's hoping to get some kind of answer as to what happened to him on the banks of the Pascagoula River all those years ago.
If Calvin Parker's name doesn't ring a bell, you're missing out on one of the wildest alien abduction cases in history. Even in 2023, 50 years after the event, he never wavered. Back in 1973, Parker and his fishing buddy Charles Hickson were casting their lines by the Pascagoula River when a piercing sound interrupted them. Looking up, they spotted a massive UFO. And things only got weirder from there. Out stepped 3 bulky creatures, moving with eerie precision.
And it was 3 bulky-looking creatures.
Before they could react, the men were hauled aboard the craft and subjected to some kind of examination. And just as suddenly, they were dropped back off, the UFO vanishing into the night. Now, here's the thing. Parker never changed his story. For half a century, he stuck to every chilling detail. And really, what did he have to gain by lying? Linda Porter. Back in 1963, before alien abductions became mainstream, a chilling case emerged. Linda Porter, just 17 at the time, went to bed in her quiet Covina, California home, only to wake up somewhere impossible inside a strange craft. Years later, under hypnosis, she recalled seeing a small, gray-like creature. But that wasn't the scariest part. Moments later, she came face to face with a towering insectoid being, something straight out of a nightmare. Bipedal, praying mantis-like, watching her. And this? It was only the beginning. Linda claimed to have multiple encounters throughout her life. Some theorists believe the mantis aliens are like a hive species, with the mantis being a kind of queen bee. Let's just hope they're not scouting for more recruits. Alien implant. If you're still on the fence about all this, Whitley Strieber's story might just tip the scales. Back in 1985, the best-selling author woke up to a nightmare made real. He found himself in a small, round room surrounded by strange blue figures. The experience was traumatic, but the real mystery didn't begin until May 1989.
And I opened my eyes, and I saw these big black eyes staring at me.
One morning, Strieber woke up feeling a strange pressure on his head. A mysterious bump had appeared on his ear. One he was convinced was an implant. Attempts to remove it failed. The implant seemed to move on its own, avoiding extraction. And since then, Strieber claims he's had regular contact with these beings.
Hey, now I don't see it.
Even wilder, he says the implant enhanced his mind, making research and information flow to him effortlessly. So, was he chosen? Monitored? Enhanced? I'll let you decide. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.